Alright, we're going to start this section with an exploration of the platform service in Ionic. This is one of the internal services that we use to get information about the current device. So it has a bunch of methods like the ready method, which we're going to use a lot in this section. And this method returns a promise that is resolved when the platform is ready. Now, if the application is launched in a web browser, that happens when DOM is initialized. But if it's running in a Cordova environment, this promise is resolved when Cordova fires device ready event. Now, at this point, native functionality is available to us. Again, we're going to explore this a lot in this section. We have another useful method on this class called is. And we can use this to see if the application is running in a web browser, in an Android device, in an iPhone, in an iPad, and so on. We can also check to see if the device is in portrait or landscape mode. We also have events that are fired when the application goes in the background or comes back in the foreground. For example, when the user switches to a different application, operating system puts our application in the background and fires the pause event. To learn more about the platform service, you can go to Ionic documentation and find it under API menu. So if you scroll down, it's right here. All right, now let's see this in code. So here I'm starting from a blank project and I'm not carrying any code from the previous section. In app.component, you can see that we are importing platform from Ionic Angular. And just like many other classes in Ionic, we often inject them in the constructor. Now here inside this constructor, you can see that there's a call to the ready method. And as I explained, this returns a promise that is resolved when the platform is ready. At this point, we can call native functionality. So here we have two references, one to status bar, the other to splash screen. And both these are native plugins. So if you scroll up, you can see we are importing status bar and splash screen from Ionic-native module. Now, if we run this application in the browser and open up the console, we get two warnings. Try calling status bar.style default, but Cordova is not available. The reason we're getting this warning is because we're loading this application in a browser and native plugins are not available in a browser. They're only available in a Cordova environment. So how can we get rid of this warning? Back in app component, here inside this arrow function, we can use the is method. So platform.is. Now here we pass a string to see where this application is being run. So examples are Android, iPhone, iPad, and so on. Once again, if you go back to the documentation, you can see the list of all available platforms. So we've got Android, Cordova, Core, which represents a desktop device, iOS, iPad, iPhone, and so on. So in this case, I want to make sure that these two lines are only executed if the user is on a Cordova platform, which means this application is being run on a mobile device. So here I can pass Cordova, apply the not operator here, and simply return. Using the same technique, you can run code that is specific to Android or iPhone or iPad, depending on what application you're going to build. For example, there are certain plugins that are only supported in Android or only supported in iOS. Then you can use platform.is method to execute platform-specific functionality. Now let's look at the result. Save. Back to the browser. Let's look at the console. Beautiful. The warnings are gone. Next, we're going to take a look at Ionic plugins.